Hello ladies and gentlemen, Spirit of the Law here. As requested, I'm going to be doing another civilization overview. Last time I did the Japanese and I had some good responses from that. And this time I'm going to be doing the Teutons. To begin with, I'm going to be looking a little bit at the history of the Teutons. So the name actually derives from a tribe in about 100 BC, and from the Denmark and Sweden area. This tribe was known to the Roman Empire. Of course, the Teutons referred to in this game are not connected with them in any way. The Teutons in this game actually represent the Holy Roman Empire, which contained Germany and Italy during the time of Age of Empires, or when it's based. The Teutonic Knights were actually an order of soldiers, and they started in the Crusades at Acre. After the Crusades, the Order of Teutonic Knights, they did some other stuff, and they fought the Polish, and they just generally kind of fought other Christians and whoever they wanted. However, I was unable to find any reports of them actually being impervious to melee damage, as they seem to be in Age of Empires 2. So the Teutons used to be one of my favorite civilizations. They look very good on paper, however, they are not considered to be one of the top tier civilizations. That being said, they're very popular among new players, and they've had a couple of really cool updates in the Forgotten Empires expansion. Let's start by looking at the civ bonuses for the Teutons. First of all, they are classified as an infantry civilization, although I would actually define them as a defensive civilization. Their monks heal at twice the normal range, their towers garrison double the units, which we'll see is actually very cool. They have free murder holes, which is awesome, farms cost 33% less, which is incredible, and their town center garrisons an extra 10 units. They also have the unique unit, the Teutonic Knight, which is lots of people's favorite unit, and they have some cool unique techs, especially the crenellations. The +3 arrow range on castles is insane. The team bonus isn't bad either, and the units are extra resistant to conversions. Teutons received a little bit of a tweaking in the Forgotten Empires expansion, and the town center extra attack and line of sight was replaced with an extra garrison size, and as well, like all civilizations, they had a unique tech added. This one isn't super powerful, it's the siege weapons have extra melee armor. That being said, if your siege weapons are under melee attack, you're probably dead anyway. The Teutonic Knights, not upgraded to the elite, also had an extra 10 health points. Most of this video I'm going to be looking at how the Teutons counter different types of units. Now, while I realize other Age of Empires Civ reviewers look at how good the civilization is at one particular strategy, my problem with that is that every unit can be easily countered by at least 2 others. I think of Age of Empires as an epic rock, paper, scissors battle with over 40 different choices. So when I'm judging a civilization, I'd rather know how many options I have to deal with something the opponent throws at me, because to me flexibility is key. Being able to respond to cavalry with pikes or camels, depending on my economy and the situation that I'm in at the moment, is a choice that I want to make in the game and not one that I want my civilization to make for me. So while I agree that raw power is great for civilization, when it's combined with choice and flexibility, that to me makes for a top tier civilization. So that being said, now we're going to look through the different types of units you might encounter as the Teutons and how well they can handle each of them. Let's start with archers. Generally, as a civilization, if you encounter archers, you're going to respond with skirmishers, and the Teutons do actually get elite skirmishers, and they can upgrade them all the way up, except they do lack bracer. As well, you're going to be going to your cavalry, and while the Teutons do have the paladins, they're actually missing almost the complete light cavalry line, which does count against them. They're also missing the husbandry upgrade, so their cavalry aren't as fast as they could be. They do get the siege onager, which is great for countering cavalry, and they almost have the full ram line. They have up to the capped ram. The Teutonic Knight, though, to be fair, is very weak against archers, and it's not a unit you're going to want to use against them. So overall, when you put it all together, they do have some different options against archers, but I would not consider them to have an overwhelming strength against them, and for that reason, I'm going to give them a C+. I see them as average, or maybe even a little bit below average in terms of their capacity to handle archers being used against them. I would say it's pretty general knowledge that if you're playing against the Teutons, archers are the way to go, so I think this rating is fair. Now is when we start to see the power of the Teutons. We're going to be looking at how they counter infantry. Generally, when you see infantry, you're going to want to respond with your own archers, and the Teutons don't have a very good archer line and a terrible cavalry archer line. However, they do have the hand cannoneer, and they have heavy scorpions, and they have lots of defensive upgrades, but man, those Teutonic Knights. Starting off with the elite Teutonic Knights unupgraded, having 10 melee defense against infantry, they can beat just about any infantry to the ground with no problem at all. You would have to be crazy to try to beat the Teutons with infantry. That would just be insane. For that reason, I'm going to give the Teutons an A- against infantry. They may not be quite as good as the Aztecs, but boy are they up there. Definitely a strength for this civilization. Just a note to make on their infantry. I know there's a little bit of confusion out there about who wins in a Teutonic Knight versus a Samurai battle. One-on-one, the Teutonic Knight does win. So it's settled, right? The Teutonic Knight's better. Well, what if we put them in groups? What if we have 9 Teutonic Knights against 9 Samurai? What we find is that actually it's pretty even. Teutons might win by a little bit, the Samurai might win by a little bit. Overall, maybe a slight edge to the Teutons. But that's not telling the whole story, because Teutons actually cost much more than Samurai do. So if we equalize the resources, that ends up being 9 Teutons cost the same or a little bit more than 12 Samurai. And if we run that fight, the Samurai win every time. Overall, even though they win one-on-one, I wouldn't recommend using Teutonic Knights against Samurai. You're going to run out of resources first in that battle. Now let's look at how the Teutons counter cavalry. Obviously, the number one go-to is going to be the halberdier, and the Teutons actually do get fully upgraded halberdiers, so that's solid. On the other hand, they are missing the camel, which can be really nice to have in battle, and their unique unit, while it's not bad against cavalry, it's not really a hard counter like some of the other unique units are. Overall, I think I'm going to have to give them a B against cavalry. They do have a couple of different options, and they're solid. I mean, they can handle cavalry, but it's not really their specialty. Looking one-on-one, the halberdier does lose to the paladin, as we would expect, although it's obviously very cost-effective. The Teutonic Knight can actually beat an upgraded paladin one-on-one in a fight, which is pretty cool. Now let's take a look at how the Teutons counter siege. Generally, when you're countering siege, you're thinking, okay, I want to use cavalry. Well, the Teutons do have paladins, although they are lacking the husbandry, so they're a little bit slower. They lack the light cavalry line, which we brought up before against archers. It's kind of big. They don't get anything past scout cavalry. The Teutonic Knight is also awful against siege because it's so slow. In fact, siege is one of the best ways to counter it. That being said, they do have the siege onagers, and they do have bombard cannons, which can't be underestimated against other onagers and heavy scorpions as well. The squire's upgrade is also nice, and it increases the speed of the infantry a little bit. Overall, I'm going to give them a B. Again, they can handle it, but it's really not something they're particularly good at, and their unique unit doesn't do a very good job of it. Now let's take a look at the Teutons on the sea. You'll notice they do have the fast fire ships, the heavy demolition ships, and the galleons, and they do have cannon galleons available. They are missing the elite cannon galleons, and they're missing a couple of key technologies for the navy. As well, they don't have bracers, so their galleons aren't as good as you might expect. That being said, their university is quite open, and they have the heated shot, which is very nice for controlling the shore. Obviously, they have ballistics, I think all civilizations do, and chemistry, of course, as all civilizations do. Overall, I'm going to have to give them a B again. I mean, I hate to keep using it, but like they're solid, but they're just not that great on the water like some other civilizations. Here we see those hackers, the Vikings, cleaning up yet again. I know you're getting tired of me giving out the B grade, so here we're going to move on to something a little different. This is defenses. This is where the Teutons shine, and boy do they ever. Getting extra garrison room in their town centers and their towers, getting extra range on their castle, getting free murder holes, and just look at these towers. They have right up to keeps, they have bombard towers, they get hoardings, they get masonry, they don't get architecture. They have just about everything that you could ask for in defenses. And this is why I feel like so many new players really love the Teutons, is because not only do they have the incredibly powerful Teutonic Knight, but their defenses are also great, and if you're turtling and walling up, this is the civilization for you. I'm going to give them an A+. I really can't justify giving them anything less. To me, this is the defensive civilization, not the Byzantines. And check this out, only the Teutons can do this. If you fully garrison their bombard towers with hand cannoneers, they can fire 2, count them 2, different shots at once. That's 240 damage from each bombard tower every shot. Not even the Koreans can do that, and they're a tower civilization. Now let's take a look at their economy. First of all, we have to talk about the Teutons get much cheaper farms, and this is incredible. That being said, that's really the only economic advantage they have. I mean, they have a pretty open tech tree with the crop rotation and the two-handed saw, and you know, it's not bad with all the just missing the gold shaft mining, but really compare this to something like the Mayans, where you have 20% longer lasting resources, or any other civilization that has a bonus to collecting gold, and it's gold that's the big problem at the end of maps, and the Teutons don't really have anything that helps them out with that. Usually wood and food aren't the problem in a late game, so this cheaper conversion of wood to food that they get in the farms really doesn't translate into the incredible economy that you might expect in a late game. For that reason, I'm going to give them a B+ overall. It's a good economy, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but it's just not quite top tier A material. If you've decided that you do want to play as the Teutons, and there's nothing wrong with that, here's kind of my recommendation for how you play them. Generally, you're going to want to remember to put the Teutonic Knights in rams. They're very weak to arrows, and if you can put them in rams, the rams make up for that and can get the Teutonic Knights close enough that they can come out and do damage. You're also going to want a turtle and fast castle, building walls all around your base and making use of that great defense that they have. As well, they do also have the siege onager, which you're going to want to use along with some other trash and support in order to neutralize a lot of the archers that might be used against you and other units like that. Also remember that the Teutonic Knights have very good monks and that you'll want to use a few of them, especially if you're in a team game. I would love to be playing as the Teutons against either the Goths or the Persians or the Vikings or anyone else that's kind of stuck using melee and cavalry type units. This is not to say that all hope is lost if you are playing against the Teutons. You're going to want to remember to bring your onagers and your hand cannoneers, as they will cut Teutonic Knights to shreds. Some good other civilizations against the Teutons would be the Spanish because of the conquistadors, the Chinese because of Chukonus, the Japanese because of obviously their samurai's bonuses, the Mongols because they're good against siege and also hit and run tactics, and as well the Aztecs because they also excel against infantry. Now I just want to show you my recommended build for if you're playing as the Teutons against sub 1650 LO players. First, you're going to want a fast castle. Make some extra villagers in Dark Age and try to go up to castle as quickly as possible, maybe around 17-18 minutes. Then send in knights early to rush and keep the pressure on while you build lots of town centers, build lots of walls. You're going to want to make sure to use the defensive aspect in order to help you build your economy and make it as big as possible. Lots and lots of those cheap farms. Also try to secure any gold on the map that you can, of course. That's probably going to be the issue late in the game. You can never have enough farms, never enough villagers, and never enough walls. Keep mining stone as well. You're going to need it. So then, around the 40 to 50 minutes, once you're Imperial, get some Teutonic Knights, some hand cannoneers, some siege, and some other supporting units. Just try to mix up your army and just hit them in one big powerful move. You're going to want to target their units, their castles, town centers, and any production buildings. Don't worry about completely wiping them out, and just move around the map with your giant moving fortress of Teutonic Knights and rams. Don't forget to be nice and say GG at the end, meaning good game, of course, because you are excellent, very friendly players. So anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you learned something. Please like and leave a comment for any other civilizations that you want me to cover. Any that you like, any that you don't like. It's all the same to me. I really enjoy these. It's a lot of fun to make, and it helps me get better at my game as well. And as well, subscribe if you like this content for more similar content. I'll be coming out with new videos related to Age of Empires every Friday. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm Spirit of the Law, and we'll see you next time.